Max Verstappen's entanglement with Mercedes received yet another fresh dose of reports, this time from a renowned journalist who seems to be very close to this development. Now that Russell has reportedly turned down a contract extension for Mercedes, in the same form that Hamilton was offered too, will this prompt the Brackley-based squad to aggressively pursue Max? And if not, how does the first year of the new regulations play into favor for all sides involved? The situation between Max Verstappen and Mercedes continues to be talked about, and it's not without reason. Long gone are the days when we believed these were just rumors and drama in the paddock, especially after the statements of Wolff and Russell regarding the services of the four-time world champion. However, according to Eric Van Haren, a trustworthy journalist who's very close to Verstappen's inner circle, nothing has changed in terms of the interest or offers made toward Verstappen compared to last week. When writing about the bombshell that was dropped by Sky Sports F1 Italia, Van Haren explained, "Many stories and rumors again surrounding Max Verstappen and Mercedes. The interest from Mercedes is there and that is also known, but according to my information, there's no official offer and Verstappen has therefore not said yes either. Factually, nothing has changed compared to last week. You would understand why there aren't any new developments. Despite Mercedes' wish to pursue Max, the future of the four-time world champion will be forged by no one else but himself. From this point of view, he has a lot to unfold before deciding whether Red Bull is the perfect team for him in 2026. The downfall of the Austrian squad is visible. Veteran figures have left the team, and since Newey announced his departure last year in Miami, the car's behavior has also become more and more questionable. Horner's leadership is under a lot of fire, and it seems like we're living through the exact days Jos Verstappen warned us about, if Horner remains the team principal of Red Bull. So if the interest from Mercedes is there but no offer has been made, why is this topic still so relevant? For starters, we're talking about Max Verstappen. You just have to try and give everything you can to bring him along to your squad. Even low-tier teams would literally sell their soul to have Verstappen on their team. But we know there are only a couple of teams apart from Red Bull where the Dutchman would consider continuing his career. Let's not forget that Mercedes could be the geniuses here, playing the long game. In 2026, they're highly likely to have a very dominant car, which could prompt Verstappen to question his decision to stay with Red Bull once more. If this happens, Mercedes will be more than happy to renew negotiations with the Dutchman. This is probably the reason why they offered Russell a 1+1 contract, with the second year being the team's choice. All of these talks were brought to us by Sky Sports F1 Italia, and they've been backed up by the UK version of the outlet as well. What they stated is quite bold. Max Verstappen reportedly agreed to a deal with Mercedes, but some members of the board are still yet to say yes to this move. If you look at what Wolff had to say regarding this matter, you'd understand it perfectly. There are lots of members who need to be impressed by this vision and who need to look it directly in the eyes and say, yes, this is the right move for us. Elaborating further on this, Wolff said, you need to be respectful towards the stakeholders in all of that process, the organization, the drivers, everybody. You need to understand the way forward. And I don't want to be sadistic in letting a driver wait or not taking any decisions when they should be taken. So, I feel we're in a good space. We're in June. Obviously, there are lots of discussions around. I've been open with it and transparent. And at a certain stage in the next couple of months, until the summer break, we need to know. Let's not forget about George Russell here. The Brit is still without a contract for 2026. So in the middle of these heated conversations with the Brackley race squad, Formula Uno reported that Russell denied a 1+1 contract for Mercedes. It's obvious that if he continues with the team that groomed him to this position, he's going to seek stability and greater security in the future, something Mercedes is not keen on giving him. Again, this is a very good reason why the rumors of Max to Mercedes might be so heated. Even if this scenario doesn't happen in 2026, Mercedes will still be able to show how competitive they'll be under the newly regulated era to Max. In case they impress him, what stops them from restarting negotiations for 2027? The type of contract Mercedes offered Russell is the exact one they offered to Hamilton. And although we can't compare both in terms of success with the team, we can say one thing: Russell is a prodigy of Mercedes. The Brit was brought to the level he is today thanks to the Silver Arrows. Starting his F1 career all the way back in 2019 with Williams, they made him drive in a low-bracket team for 3 years despite knowing how much potential he had to win races in Mercedes. Russell almost won a race on the first try with Mercedes back in 2020 at the Sakir Grand Prix, had it not been for the failure in the pit stop. So it was more or less certain that the arrival of Russell was a matter of when, not if. Since 2022, he's gotten on the winning list. To ditch that just because a four-time world champion is on the market is a bit of a questionable decision when it comes to the dogma you're preaching in your team. I'm not saying Max isn't worthy of replacing Russell. Everyone who thinks that needs to question their knowledge of this sport. But the Dutchman has stated many times that he doesn't want to be here forever, hinting at an early retirement around his 30s. On the other hand, you have a man who has been here through thick and thin, performed extraordinarily well when the car was miserable, and quite frankly is very close to Verstappen in the Drivers' Championship now that the teams are more or less level in terms of performance. So if you're Toto Wolff, do you actually go there and redefine Mercedes as we know it, sign a nightside hire who is a proven world champion, just for the sake of the moment he's available? If Mercedes chooses to shake up the entire grid with this move, where does that put Russell? He'd have to embark on a new journey with either Aston Martin or Red Bull in what would be a direct swap of drivers. Horner and Russell did have talks about a potential collaboration, if certain things played out in a particular way and they couldn't do anything about it.